So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sharon Whiteman, and it's my great pleasure and privilege to be here every week with each and every one of you and my co-leaders, Diana Hunter and Gary Knapp. And today we're very privileged to have Karen Dennis as our guest speaker. I'll just give you a bit about her background. Karen Dennis, a former nurse, is the mother of 4 children and grandmother to 6 grandchildren. She studied nutrition and supplementations for many years and began her Manitech business in 2002. She reached a 6-figure income level in just over 2 years and has earned many awards in the process. Karen was Associate of the Year in Australasia in 2008 and again in 2013. She was in the top International Business Builders of the Year in 2007 and again in 2013, and in addition has been the top 5 Associates of the Year in 2008, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, and 18. In 2012, she was the recipient of the Giving Spirit Award in Australasia and also inducted into the $1 Million Club, a prestigious group comprised of associates who have earned over $1 million in their Manitech business. This Saturday, we're going to be talking about everything that brainstorming together, helping each other, lifting each other up to develop new ideas of how you can grow and be the best you can be in your Manitech business. So, Karen, God bless you, as always.
Thank you, Sharon.
So, did you want to just open with an intro? What's been on your heart for Manitech of late?
Yeah, sure. Look, I have my daughter here for the weekend, Avalon Dennis, who it's very exciting, is now, after being in Manitech herself for 21 years, is now building a business. So, things take time, guys. Sometimes you just have to wait a while, even with your own family. Avalon's been taking the products all that time, but now, she sees the value that it brings to people, and that's what she wants to do, is bring value. But I just guess I feel really thankful today. We've been for a walk, done some qigong this morning, and I've been watering my beautiful garden. I realise this is the longest I've ever lived in a house in my entire life. I've been here 15 years. I was able to buy this house because of Manitech, as I'm sure you all know my story. I was renting in my early 50s and had nothing, really, nothing saved. And now I own my own home and have this wonderful business. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. One of my daily routines every night is to just lie in bed and just say, not all the things I'm grateful for, but until I fall asleep. And that goes on and on and on. And I just feel that gratitude is such a massive, massive part of living our life and things being great for us. The more you're grateful for, the more you get. When I don't mean it to say that you're grateful so you get, but more comes your way. So this has been a course in personal development, in overcoming being a victim, in overcoming disappointments and all sorts of things, as you all know. So anyway, that's probably enough. I'm just rambling a bit like I tend to do, but I'm here because I really care about all of you. I really care about Manitech. I really care that the world is a bit of a mess. The food is diabolical. I recently went to the Thailand grand opening, as a group of us did, and I had breakfast sitting next to Dr. Nugent one morning. We had an Australian breakfast, which was really cool. And I mentioned his book that he wrote in 2004, How to Survive on a Toxic Planet, and said, which I've quoted many times over the years and quoted the 75,000 toxic chemicals that were on planet Earth that he wrote about in that book. And the horrifying part is not that. The horrifying part, in my opinion, is that before 1930, there were none. None. And I said about that to him, and he said, oh, that's nothing now. He said, I'm writing another book. 20 years later it is, 2004, we're now 2024. He said there's now 350,000 toxic chemicals on planet Earth. And they're in everything. So it's a big job. It's a big job. And people may not know they need it, but every person on planet, I believe, needs our products. So if I can answer any questions about anything today, I will do my best. Don't promise I'll know the answer to everything, but I'll do my best.
Well, I mean, listen, for everybody, it's open to health questions and business questions, anything that you
Mm,
want. But one
mm,
of the questions I have is that, you've been involved since the beginning with the whole series of expo events.
mm.
What's your experience of the events? I know Diana mentioned that earlier on, or you mentioned that, most people were saying that they just love them so much that they wish they would have invited more people to them. So
Oh, yeah.
what's the feeling and the essence of the expos?
Okay. Well, the expos I just think is a wonderful idea. I mean, we're all so grateful to Sinead and Andrew and Poppy and what they've brought back to us all. But I also acknowledge the leadership, in the field because we've masterminded and come up with ideas. So this expo idea came up. And I guess it's just exposure. It's a gentle way to open up, what we are and what we have to offer. Not that we're just trying to sell something, that we actually have something valuable to offer. And I've been actually doing a business course. Maybe this is not what you're asking me, but I have got one really big suggestion. It's a bit late for Adelaide now, whatever, or it's not too late because it's starting today. You could still invite people last minute, and that does work. But for Brisbane, those of us who are in Queensland and coming to the Brisbane event or coming from another state, as some people are, um, marketing is such an important part of our business. I've been learning about this, and marketing is not sales, and marketing is not branding. Marketing is a field of its own, and it's basically promotion. And I really encourage you to spend this week for Brisbane promoting the expo in any way that you can and reminding people, 2 or 3 emails, maybe a phone call, as Diana said at the beginning, offering to pick people up. But as Diana said so well too, everyone's saying it was such fun. It was so low key. For those of you who haven't seen Bella in Sydney, lovely Bella posted a reel on Facebook saying, that it was so gentle, that people loved it, that they had fun, and it was low key, and Sinead has said, no name badges, we're not doing name badges because that's too formal. This is a low key, gentle promotion. They're going to learn about M5M if they don't know about it. They're going to taste some manna bears. They're going to win some prizes. And it's a fun, low key event, which just, I don't know, promotes us in just a lovely way, makes us, I don't know what to really call it. But I just encourage us all. I'm I'm going to be totally focused on this expo this week and contacting people, encouraging them, even offering to pick them up, even though I've got to travel 2 hours to get there myself. But whatever it takes, and because that's what we need to promote our business. And you've got people on each stand. Avalon's going to be on the Lumi stand. She was the presenter at the Luminovation Live, and she'll be doing that. And at 12 o'clock, they'll be doing a Luminovation, a face. She'll be doing somebody's face, actually showing the skincare in action and how you use it. So that'll be fun. People get their cards stamped as they come in. So if they get all the 5 cards stamped, they get to go in the wheel to spin and win prizes. And yeah, just
So a
make the
bit of
most
fun,
of
a bit
it.
of education, a bit of
Bit of,
connection.
yeah, bit of everything. It's just an expo. Why do you go to an expo? I mean, I'm sure everyone's been to expos. It's just an overall impression and fun, and you find the things you're interested in, whatever they might be. So bring the people.
And Karen, I think it's really potent that you highlighted the term marketing and as
Mm,
different than other things. And like,
yes.
just as an example, in regards to Saturday morning call, Karen got back to me right away and made sure that she had the link to promote today's event to make sure that
Yeah.
she could pass that on. So that's
Yeah.
marketing. So our Saturday
Yes.
morning calls should be are part of a tool for you to be utilizing
Mm-hmm.
equal to the
Mm-hmm.
expo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
getting that link, getting the Facebook link, sharing it on Facebook, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I can admit to and confess to, I've got on my Facebook group, it's such a diverse group. It's kind of complex for me because I run a charity and probably the majority of my friends are people with Lyme disease, but I could learn how to segment those people, right? On Facebook. There's a way that you can target or,
Yes.
leave out certain people that you don't think are interested
Yes.
or that are from a different focus. The
Mm-hmm.
reason they're on Facebook and connected to me on Facebook is for a different reason. Anyway, there's all different kinds of ways that you can manage that. But even sharing, so what can you do today to share the links on Facebook for the expo to get the word out and
Absolutely.
be loud and proud about it? We've never harmed a
Mm,
soul in sharing information about Manatech,
mm,
never.
mm,
And
mm.
we've positively influenced and saved thousands, hundreds of thousands, really,
Yep,
with Manatech.
yep,
My life, I don't think I'd be here without Manatech
exactly.
you know and no matter the thing that is, no matter the starting point where someone is starting at, like I'm not at 100% health because of certain complex illness, but am I feels like 1,000% ahead of my peers with that same
Mm,
label.
mm,
What if someone could be the best they could be within the challenges that their body has thrown at them or their life has thrown at them,
absolutely.
and
Mm,
we're only one invitation and question away for giving them that opportunity to make a decision, yes or no.
yeah.
So we've got quite a few questions here. I'll get to them all.
Okay.
But I won't promise I get to them order because I'm not looking at the time.
Can
So
I
I can
maybe
look at
just add something while we're on
certainly.
this subject of marketing and emails? Because I've taken this something to, and like you, Sharon, I've got a massive email list, and it's mostly Manatech mine. So I've got them divided up into my leaders and my region, and then those who are wanting to be, and then, yes, different groups. I've also got a lot of people in there I don't even know who they are, but maybe they're somebody else's past customer or whatever. So I've decided I've done group emails, and that hasn't always, had any result. And the course I'm doing, he sends out group emails, but it's always, hi, Karen, my name. And I thought, well, I don't know how to do that yet, to do an email, broad email spread with everybody's individual name coming up. Avalon's going to help me work that out. But at the moment, I'm just planning to do 5 or 6 emails a day, or when I fit them in, and I'm making each one individual. And I just started at the top of my contacts list with the A's, and people I remember. We've had history. Most of the people I'm emailing have been on the products in the past and no longer are. So I've just written personal emails. Like, there's one lady in my business, we went to Mexico together, to the orphanages, and couldn't fly out of Mexico because Dallas had a storm and we had to stay in a motel room together. So I just wrote, oh, remember that, and what fun we had, and what a circus it all was, and I hope you will. And just a personal email, just a personal chatting email. But I'm not just going to do it once. I'm going to do more. And one lady wrote back to me who hasn't bought the products for years. Oh, I've got a detached retina, and sent me a photo of her eye. And I think I'm going to
Oh
go
dear.
blind in my eye. Seriously, I think I'm going to go blind in one eye. And I just wrote back and said, well, I do really think the Ambritose could help you. And da, da, da. So I'm just working on a marketing campaign so it's slow, sending one at a time.
Yeah.
But I'm a great quality rather than quantity person anyway. So
Yeah,
that's a
no, that's great.
suggestion with the marketing. Start promoting, start going back to older people. Things can change.
Yeah. I
People's
have
health
two.
hasn't improved if they've stopped the products. I can assure you of that.
Absolutely,
Mm,
absolutely. And people forget the benefits with nutrition are so subtle, they forget what the gains they had and then the losses. If they reflected and
yep,
had someone to help and connect in,
yep,
they would, a high percentage of them would recognize that. And the
yep,
other thing about what you just said about the helping with the retinal detachment with ambertose. So just think, when you're approaching someone, you've heard them a situation like that, remind them, especially in Karen's case, that it was a previous customer that would have some level of education. Remind
yep,
them that their cells can't repair or function optimally without these glycans and not in food. That's the bottom line. They can't.
absolutely.
And someone that we all know and love, most everybody here would know Sue Price, who recently had a very
Mm,
severe stroke and went through hospital phase and rehab phase. And stubborn Sharon Whiteman, as soon as she was close enough to me, I went every day and fed her a mix of ambertose and manipul.
oh, good on
And
you, Sharon.
she's got she's she did have very dire, and her children don't know what they don't know, right? And she had very dire expectations from all the specialists, and they got it rid of it, all her belongings and all that kind of stuff immediately. And I just thought, I just knew that we don't know what we don't know yet. So anyway, she's now, I think, 100% cognitively intact. And we're just helping her progress her speech therapy so that she can get out. And I visited her 2 days ago, and she had full sentences coming out from being looking like potentially nothing at the beginning. So, and not what we're promising miracles, but the body is a miracle if it has the function, the nutrients that it needs. It has all the raw materials, and definitely her brain cells couldn't repair without extra help, right? Because what do you get in a hospital? Bit of porridge, and she wasn't yet, for some of it she wasn't eating at all. So the more, you just never know how you can change a life. And we have a duty of care, really, to learn the best skills we can in communicating this. And in some cases, bulldozing your way through hospital policies and procedures and getting it written up by doctors and being just not shutting up, which is what I did.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
There was another thing I was going to say about one thing you said, but I forget. But anyway, what's the other thing you said about marketing? So, the other thing I wanted to say was that, Karen, I use Send and Blow to send these emails out, and it's super easy. It's really intuitive. Once you learn the basic samples and get your first, I'm sure that's probably what your daughter's going to help you do, but if she doesn't, I can highly recommend it. And it's easy. Just put the first name in, and you can write an email to one person or to everybody. And that's how everybody here gets their Saturday emails.
Thank you,
So
Sharon. Yeah.
now
My
I'll stop hogging the
technological
time.
skills are improving. Yes.
It is an easy interface. It's very intuitive. It's not one of the older style where you had to be a programmer to do. And no code. It's like drag. Oh, I like this. I'll drag it to this area. And once the initial one is said, all you have to do is fix the text.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
questions in order.
Okay.
809. From the Manatech range would you be your first recommendation for detoxing alone for someone that wants to is aware of our toxic planet and wants to start on a new detox regime?
Okay. Obviously ambritose, because that will get all the cells communicating the right information and starting to clean up the body. So that's the major. And it's always going to be depending on budgets, and also not just budgets, but how much you can convey the value. So definitely ambritose, and if possible GI Pro as well, because both of those are integrally involved in setting up the immune system.
And there
And
just
we've got,
happens to be a nice bundle.
well, exactly. It's only $195, I think it is, the ambritose complex and GI Pro, the life, and whether you chose the life or the complex to have a detox is really up to your personal belief. But if it's somebody older or somebody with any joint issues, I'd always go for the complex. If initially, you might want to change to the life later, but the complex is much better if people have got any joint issues. Otherwise, the life can be too demanding and cause a bit of discomfort. So ambritose and GI Pro, absolutely. And if possible, AO. That would be my third suggestion. If you could do all three and it was just a detox, that would be ideal, because the antioxidants help get rubbish out of the body. When with a detox or any serious disease conditions where a lot of bad cells are being killed off, use your imagination with what I'm talking about, the AO is very, very helpful with removing the dead cells out of the body as well.
And that happens every day, doesn't it? Every second
Absolutely.
of the day, that's what our body is doing, is
Absolutely.
destroying ones that shouldn't be there or growing abnormally.
And it protects the good cells. It gives, I always like to think of the ambritose as the initiator, the attack. I shouldn't call it attack, but like in sport,
The captain.
and the AO is your defense, because it's protecting the good cells. It's protecting and removing bad. It's an incredible product. Dr. Nugent went on and on and on and on about AO at the grand opening in Thailand, which was very interesting. He really emphasised ambritose and AO. They were his two main points. So if you can add those three,
Awesome.
Ambritose at least, Ambritose and GI Pro best, Ambritose, GI Pro and AO better still. And
Awesome.
you know, on a call we had Pauline Hancock on a call recently, I think, and
Yeah.
she was talking about, you know, one product at a time. And for some people, that can work. You know, it's great if you can get people on more product to start with because they'll get better results, and that's the truth. But you still need to start gradually. And if they can get a bit of belief. But my biggest thing about detoxing is always tell people, you know, if they want to detox, explain what can happen, you know, that they may get a dull headache, they may feel slightly nauseous. And the last thing you want to do is stop or go back, but you probably need to start gradually. I never start people on maintenance amounts. Start slowly, and you find out how slowly by how they are. You know, if they have serious issues digestively, I mean, you might want to just start slowly with even only a quarter of a teaspoon twice a day. I've even had people in the past with serious food allergies where it was they couldn't even handle a quarter of a teaspoon. So it was a lick your finger, dip it in the Ambritose once a day, and gradually built up to 4 or 5 or 6 teaspoons a day, but it took some time. So just be aware of what happens in a detox and explain that if they do get a headache, it's a good sign because you're getting rid of rubbish. So then when they tell you, if they tell you they've got a headache, they're happy they got a headache because you said it means it's working, you know, so
Yeah.
it works to your advantage instead of if you didn't tell them and they get a headache, they think, oh, I'm allergic to this stuff, and they might stop, you know. So
Yeah.
the more communication about the process and education without overdoing it is, if you know what I mean by overdoing it, don't get
Yeah.
too scientific, which I have to really be careful not to, like I'm doing now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's people don't know what they don't know, right? They don't know what their
Mm.
doctors don't know how to teach them, right?
No,
And
they
we've
don't.
been programmed that they're the experts and we listen,
Yep.
right? Where really we have a duty of care to help people learn themselves.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
right. And it takes some time. I mean, I had a long-term customer recently, someone can't say what I did. Anyway, but she's been taking the products for a very long time, got very sick, text me, yeah, what do I rescue remedy? I have rescue remedy taking product hourly, and that all was good. But in the end, she told me in the end she was working and she got better quickly, but she did have to go to the doctor. You know, it's this deep, deep program
Mm,
where they did have to go to the doctor in the end. And I say, what for? What can they do? What can they give you? You know, they
mm.
can only give you poison. Whoops. Yes. So anyway,
Yeah.
let's move on.
Yeah. Oh boy. And well, and like even what I just mentioned, like when I got charted in the end, Ambertos and GI Pro daily by the nurse
Mm,
for Sue.
good.
But I didn't, and I told the kids, and I could feel their fear rise, but I said, I've mixed this 50-50 Ambertos and Manipul. Manipul is an ingredient in Ambertos. I'm not lying to them. Just in this kind of, they don't have any education in this. And in this
Yeah.
particular instance, she needs more than what's in Ambertos. And there's
Yes.
no way in hell I would have gotten an agreement from them for Ambertos, Manipul, and
No.
GI Pro.
Too hard
So
for them. They don't
yeah,
understand. Too
so
hard.
it's a lie, but it's like it's the truth of the truth because they
Mm,
don't know what they don't know in regards to you're
no.
in
No.
and if if you're new to Manitech, you need experienced people to help you with those kind of strategies, but
Mm,
it's food. And that's what I
mm,
said to the nurse. I said, it's food. Listen, doesn't she said, oh, did you give her some this morning? I said, listen, if she had it in every meal, it'd be better. But I understand the staffing issues. You can't
mm,
sustain that where in this kind of facility. So I said, it's just food and it's just lifting her ability to stay healthy as possible.
mm.
Anyway,
Good
next
on you, sir.
question.
Good on you, Sharon. Next question.
Um, you're in a queue and you have 1 minute with the person in front of you. What's your sales pitch?
I don't have a sales pitch. I
Question.
get to know people. You know, about just if I was just chatting for 1 minute, I wouldn't be doing a pitch. That's me. Different people do different things, but I would be maybe talking about their child. If I noticed they had a lot of healthy things in their trolley, I might say, "Oh, good to see you buying healthy products." Maybe bring it. I mean, there's a million scenarios there could be, but if I felt a connection with the person, I'd be wanting to have a cup of coffee with
Yes.
them.
Open a
You know,
conversation.
1 minute's pretty short, but I would never do a sales pitch in 1 minute. So I'm not saying you shouldn't, but that's not my style.
Yeah.
I mean, recently, I mean, it's a long time since I ran out of a warm market. So you have to keep creating a warm market. And you can, I mean, we talk, you run out of warm market and then you go to cold market. Well, I'd rather keep making a warm market. So I've started going to yoga twice a week, and I now go to qigong another day. And nearly all of those people are, for a start,
Target
over
market.
40, target
Mm.
market. Most of them are in my age bracket or younger than me, some older. Most of them have got challenges. So I walk into this yoga class, right? All these lovely women, you know, that I feel a connection with because they're doing something for their health. They're already thinking health, you know, or staying fitter, staying better. Like, you know, we do the exercises and the teacher says about, you know, doing these ones which turn your head. When you're getting older, if you want to be able to keep driving, you need to be able to keep turning your head. So to drive, you don't think about that, to look behind, you know, to see it. So just a small thing. Anyway, so I walked in and this is my thought. Well, here's all these prospects. So I've got more than 1 minute if you're going to relate back to that. But I don't want to just come in here and be known as someone who came in here, rave, you know, listen to me, I've got these great products. And I just decided I just had to wait. I had to wait and develop relationships and just get to know people, let them get a feel for me and my energy. And in a whole different scenario, I'm creating a new warm market. And it took a few weeks, but this one lady just kept coming and talking to me. And it ended up one day we had a conversation, and she was a highly qualified ex-nurse, a phlebotomist, retired recently, and younger than me though. And she has clients. She does something else in the health industry, which I won't mention now. And she has clients. And I said, oh, I have my own business too in health. And she said, oh, I said, yeah, mainly to do with, so this maybe answer some people's questions, mainly to do with the immune system and hormones. You know, that's my thing. Oh, she said, oh, I've got young women with just terrible challenges with their hormones. And she said to me, we need to have coffee. So how cool was that? Anyway, long story short, we did. I won't go into the whole details, but she's now an associate. You know, she's enrolled as an associate and on the products herself. And I think we've got a great joint career ahead of us together. So, you know, I'd just rather keep building my warm market or go for coffee, not rush in too much. I think sometimes where you rush in, you burn your bridges.
Mm.
You know, so that's my personal opinion. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever do a sales pitch in 1 minute, but it's just not my style.
Yeah. And it's so good that you're highlighting that all of us,
Mm,
we can't all do it exactly the same way. And the next question
mm,
is, how do you coach people to play to their strength and go about building their business in their own unique way according to their strengths?
okay. Well, I guess the first and most important thing is to find out why people want to build their business. You know, what is their reasons? And that's going to be different. You know, different people are motivated by M5M. You know what? I think M5M is amazing, but it's never motivated me. And does that make me bad? I don't think so. We all have very, very individual and we have a reason for doing it. And it's absolutely imperative that people know their reason. What's going to keep them going? And it's got to be personal. What's going to keep them going when things aren't working? And, you know, I've gone through this in my 22 years. I've had more no's than everybody probably. Um, I've had real periods of disappointment and things not working. I've gone months without enrolling anyone. But you know what? I learned it always gets back to me. It always gets back to me. And I would go to my leaders and ask, you know, what am I doing wrong? Why is nothing working? And it was usually about my attitude. It was usually about the way I said things. Maybe I rushed things. Maybe this is why I don't do quick conversations. I'd rather build a relationship. I'm really actually fussy now about who I have in my business, you know. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but if they're going to build a business, I want to be working with people that I get on with and that I care about and who connect with me. You know, we have to be on the same page too.
Mm.
So it's finding out with the person I'm helping what their reasons are. You know, do they want to not go on the pension? That's a big motivation for me. You
Yeah.
know, having my own home was a big motivation for me because I didn't have one. And being, you know, I'd had an adult life marriage of, you know, poverty, literally, and I'm not exaggerating. And I didn't want that anymore. And I changed it. And that
Mm.
overcame the downtimes because I wanted to change it so much. So finding yours and the person you're helping, personal one. So that's that part of it. You know, the personal development's another big part of it, you know, helping them to develop in different ways, whether
Mm.
it's doing yoga, meditating, um, affirmations, gratitude's massive to help people grow. But the other thing I love too on a more practical basis is a business plan. I love figures. That's why I'm doing the comp plan thing. I've always loved the comp plan and how it works. It's just I was never good at maths at school, but so suddenly that appeals to me, all the figures and understanding that and working at a business plan. And I have had a spreadsheet business plan for years and years. I started it when Steve Foxwell was at Manatech, and it came up and I don't know, some trainings we were doing, and he created this spreadsheet. And I look at that every day, maybe not Sundays, but pretty much every day I update it, how to get to the leadership level, what's going on. So I'm totally cognizant of what's happening in my business. And I encourage people to do that, to have, so a business plan's a way of keeping an eye on what's going on, but it's also a way to decide what your goals are, what you're aiming for. And again, having goals, going for the next leadership level. I mean, that's, as I've said on the comp plan calls, that's one of the things I love the most about this comp plan is that the levels are so much closer together and people can really be aiming for the next one. First 3 or 4 levels can be done in a couple of months when people are keen and new. So finding out what they want and keeping them encouraged, keeping communicating. I do one-on-one calls with people who, you know, are keen to go, and we discuss ideas, again, individual, you know, have they got a warm market? Has it gone? Are you going to join something? What are you going to do? What have you done that doesn't work? You know, you've got to keep analysing too. You know, what's not working, what is working, do more of what's working and less of what's not working. Is that have I
Yep.
answered that question, do
Yeah.
you think?
Beautifully, beautifully. And a question from Rachel. Do you use your links from your personalized Manatech website in your email
Uh,
marketing
Hello,
strategy?
Rachel. I saw that come up. No, I haven't ever,
Not yet.
never done it. Never done it. People in my business do.
By
My
the time
sister,
Avalon's finished with you,
yeah,
will you
maybe,
be?
maybe. I've just not got to that. No, and I should. I agree. I think it's great. My sister's done it very successfully. You know, she has it so people can go in because it is an issue if you're out and you meet people and they want to know the name of the company and then they go online and you know I've had one of my associates that happened recently. She works for a plumbing company and one of the guys there goes around changing the gas tanks and gets bitten by spiders all the time, and she gave him some AO, about 5 or 6 AO to take, and she checked with him a couple of weeks later, you know, how you going? Did you go with those spider bites? And oh, it was fantastic. Yeah, great. I went online and got some more. You know, so that can happen because she's new and didn't really follow it up and she's learnt now. She's
Yeah.
learnt from that experience that, you know, explaining. Now, if this works and you like it, you know, you can order it and get it at wholesale and earn loyalty or whatever, all the things you can say and follow up quicker. So she learned a lot out of that happening, but that's why I think the link is a great idea. But
Mm.
because you can give people the link, I do understand that. I just haven't done it. Mm.
And Rhonda's just corrected me. Rhonda's just corrected me about Send in Blue, that system I use. It's now called Brevo, which is correct. My brain switched to
Oh,
the
good.
past, which my
Okay.
brain does. Very
Yeah.
bad brain.
I noticed that on the bottom of your email, Sharon. See,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
didn't realize what that meant. So
Yeah. And
thanks,
it's
Rhonda.
free. It's
Okay.
free, and
Okay.
it's professional intuitive. It's people only pay are the really big business people. So
Okay. Cool.
like I think you're up to 300 emails a day,
All
um,
right.
like
Oh, that's
on a
great.
list, something
Oh,
like
I
that.
never do that many. That's great.
Um, that given the essential nutrients in the form of glycans, the body will use these to just, oh, that's just, okay, Dana. So there we just canceled that. Yeah, it's called Brevo, Brevo. Um, do you have a preference for complex or life? And do you use both? And in which situations do you make the choice?
I don't use life at all. So I don't want to be knocking life because I've got plenty of people on life and I think it's great. But when life first came out, just to tell you what happened to me, when life first came out, we had a big um, launch in Brisbane at the Novotel where we're having the expo, and Dr. Nugent was there for that. And initially, we just had these sachets, the life sachets, and I was just about to go on a 2-week trip around Tasmania with my sister. So we actually flew out that next day. So I had all my life sachets, super excited, and within about 3 days, my fingers were in a lot of pain, but I kept taking it. And then I just realized for some older people, and this is why I said before, it's just too stimulating. For whatever reason, I don't know. Heaps of people take life and have great results, but I stick to complex. And I start everybody on complex for that reason. I have a lot of people taking both, especially if they have serious health conditions. So I have a preference for complex. That's
Mm.
my go-to. And it costs a bit less. So, that's helpful. I'd rather people spent the money on the Manipol, as you've been talking about. I do 50-50 Manipol, not 50-50. I open my complex and put in 5 heaped scoops of Manipol all the time to what I take. And to me, that's the best. And I've seen incredible
Mm.
results
I've got a
with
pro
doing
tip.
that.
I've got a pro tip for everyone.
Yep.
Ditch the Ambertos and Manipul scoops and use the Nutriveris one.
Oh, right. That's a good tip. All right. That is a good tip. Thanks for that.
That's
Or even the Osolene one, that's bigger again.
I have to laugh at myself. These are too little, these
Yeah.
scoops.
That's great.
um, and there was another one. Oh, and the other thing with the ambertose, I think the other, if they've got those situations with abnormally growing cells, sometimes the adva or the life is a good idea.
Mm.
That's
I mean, the essence of difference is that the life has the same in it as the complex, but it has the sodium alginate, which helps get rid of heavy metals. I think I've got it the right way around, and the modified citrus pet MCP, which comes from orange peel or the inner skin of the peel, and that helps get rid of chemicals. But it's just a bit strong for me. I can't do the life. So if anyone has someone, a bit with discomfort with life, just go back to the complex or mix the two, see how that goes.
mm,
Anyway, that's my answer to that. I
yeah,
hope
I
that's
agree.
helpful.
So, and there's lots of chat in regards to that's carried on in regards to helping people who are in a hospital or in nursing homes. And yeah, persistence is the way. And just, another thing that worked for me in this recent situation was that she's been on this for 20 years. It would be her choice. She's a very healthy person. She's proactive. She did
Mm,
yoga. She went to
mm,
exercise physiologist. She actively supplemented her. She had a very healthy diet. And I said to the nursing home this week, her first time I was there when she received a snack, it was a white bread sandwich with a tiny little, I said she'd never eat that. So now
ah,
they've changed her to 6 small meals a day, and her snacks have fruit, right? And then I'm talking to them about, and I try to be non-confrontational, just that this is who she is. I know known her for 30 years, use the conversations like that. And I said that she's very slim,
mm.
and I said she has no muscle mass to lose. So would it work if you gave her amber toast in high protein yogurt? I'd be happy to supply it. So every week I'm giving a week's worth of little either squeeze tubes or little couplets of high protein yogurt that they can just mix it in. And that's how they deliver her Amortose.
Oh,
And so, and
cool.
like Rhonda was saying, you do have to watch because that communication, there's staff changeovers and communications are changes and people have biases.
Yeah.
So you, like I know that she's got a month and a half supply there. So I'll always check, you know, how much do you have left? And then I'll know if it's there's been a lot missing. And I can just
Mm,
gently say, listen, sometime when there's just staff change, the message doesn't get passed along. We're getting a bit
mm,
behind here. This is really
mm,
important for our immune system. You know,
mm.
just conversations like that.
And that applies to our regular clients as well, who say, "Oh no, I've still got plenty left." When it comes,
Yeah.
they're not
How did that
taking what
happen?
they're not taking what they should be taking. So it may be time for a little more education. And you can do that subtly too. Getting back to this marketing emails, I really love it. I mean, I've just started, with a personal email, but I'm planning to, just put out a blurb about a product. I mean, Manatech have been sharing great product ones like the Bounce Back, which is one of my favorite products, is Bounce Back. And I just posted that on my health and wellness information page. It had advantages, and we're allowed to talk about inflammation, as Dr. Nugent taught us last week. So go for it. Everybody understands that, and pretty much everybody's got some sort of inflammation, if
And
not
how
joy.
would you express that, Karen?
What do you mean? How would I express what?
Well, explain to someone about inflammation and how this helps.
Well, I just copied what they wrote on the Manatech thing and posted it in my health and wellness Facebook page. But all right, how would I explain it if I was talking? I would explain it by Bounce Back has curcumin from turmeric in a very concentrated form. A lot of people eat a lot of turmeric and they're probably not getting a lot of benefit because you really need a big concentration. And it has also bromelain from pineapple, which helps absorb the curcumin. And what the curcumin does is literally break up the inflammation. So the function of bounce back is quite different to omega-3 and sport. You did that great call about that was one of my favorites, the activity boost bundle. It's just a fabulous bundle. So the bounce back, literally, Dr. Sinnott invented that. For those of you who remember Dr. Sinnott, for athletes, because after you exercise, you have inflammation and it goes in and it actually breaks it up because inflammation's good to some extent. It's a repair process going on by the immune system. But if it goes on and it becomes chronic, it's dangerous. You end up with an autoimmune condition because it's not cleaning up. So breaking up the inflammation. And I can say, just going to say this, I've helped countless people get off Celebrex completely, which is a dreadful anti-inflammatory drug which destroys your kidneys and other things. And they've been able to do it with Bounce Back. And I still remember the story of Paramore, who tore his hamstring with his job, and there on the call, he would agree. And he took 16 Bounce Back a day and was back at work in a week or something. Amazing. Would have taken months.
Mm.
So Bounce Back is great. And it also
I
helps dissolve some bad things in certain injections too. That's another reason I talk about Bounce Back. Bromelain and
that's
curcumin were promoted a lot by Dr. Peter McCulloch, for those who know who Dr. Peter McCulloch
yeah,
is.
a
So
genius
yeah,
man,
yeah,
legend. Yeah.
absolutely. So
Um,
it's a wonderful product.
Bounce back changed my life, you know. So
Yeah.
I've come from a family history of knee replacements in
Mm-hmm.
40s and 50s, and my knees started getting sore in my 40s. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
in my late 60s now,
Mm-hmm.
and I take 6 bounce back a day. And my knees
Mm-hmm.
are a bit weak, so I'm not definitely I wouldn't qualify in the athletic department, but I'm pain free and mobile, right? Which wasn't,
Absolutely.
and I've delayed. I don't think I'll have surgery, but it's definitely with my I was too painful to walk in my early 40s, and I knew
Sure.
what my family history was. So, um,
That's
I
great, Sharon.
yeah, bounce back 6 a day for me. For
Well, it is for me too. I take 3 the minute I get up because it's the one thing you've got to take away from protein. But I tell people just away from food because they forget protein.
Yeah,
So, and I take 3 before bed. It helps me sleep. It's amazing to help you sleep. And I've had some bad falls. I had a bad fall some years ago. I landed on a concrete pot on my right hip. Couldn't move for about an hour, and off a brick wall. And I've had bad knees too. I gave up yoga. And that's an interesting thing. I gave up yoga in Nanango 12 years ago, and now I'm back at yoga. And I gave it up because my knees were too sore. But, and now I'm back doing it.
Mm.
So things do improve. And I was going to say something else, but I can't remember what it was. Anyway, bounce back is great.
Well, and we should probably just do a little bit of a disclaimer because I'm sure this will get shared widely. And
Oh,
like
right.
we're
Yes.
not practitioners and we can't share how much to take, but I make
No.
my own personal choices around what's working for me and what's not working for me. And I experiment. And especially when you know that this is nutrition, right?
Mm,
You can look at, my goodness, Mantech is very pedantic about putting any risks on something. So we can educate ourselves if there is a risk about a certain nutrient
absolutely.
and your
Absolutely.
body. So, just feel free to use nutrition to its best advantage in your own situation and ask questions, ask for help.
Mm,
This is a very helpful community.
yes. And I have a great question too that I often ask, not often, when I feel it's appropriate. I've asked people this question. Do you know any drug or any other supplement in the world that has a money back guarantee?
No, no,
That's
not a health
really
product.
that's when you stop and think about it. Our money back guarantee is a profound comment. I know it's on satisfaction. It's not, we're saying you're definitely going to be better in 6 months. It's not that sort of guarantee, but it is on satisfaction. And if people do it properly, and I don't always talk about the money back guarantee, but it's just something even you can talk about with your team. Do you realize how important and how trustworthy this company and our products are to stay in business for 32 years with a 90-day money back guarantee? Nobody
Mm,
has that. No drugs. I mean, you take certain drugs for certain things for 6 months and go back and say, my blood pressure hasn't gone down or this hasn't happened. I want my money back. Although they would laugh at you. So it's profound when you think about it.
mm.
Anyway.
This and for people, thank you today. This would be an excellent
Mm,
call, a recording
mm,
to offer to any friends that are nurses. So
absolutely.
we are nurses for Manatech, and
Mm,
it's the best, 26 years. It's the
mm,
best I've ever made for my health.
mm,
We do have another question here about being on the Core 5, GeoPro Balance, and Osline for the last 10 months, and Manipul the last month or two. We've got some cardio balance for the last 2.5 months, but
mm-hmm,
has been having reflux when lying down and a terrible pain in the diaphragm.
okay. Cardio balance are very large capsules. So you do need to be making sure, have they identified when it happens, after what products they've taken? No. The cat,
Um,
taking enough water, I mean, it depends on people's capacity to take it too and spreading it out. I mean, I like to take my products with my food, to be honest.
except bounce back.
I eat my, well, yeah, not bounce back, but with bounce back, because I take 3 at a time, but I know Rhonda Buttery can swallow handfuls. I can't. I take 1 at a time. If I had to put 3 bounce back and swallow them in one go, they sort of get stuck and I would get that burning too. So it's really just having enough liquid, I believe, or food if you're taking it with food, to get it right down. It can happen with sport too. Sometimes I'm in a hurry and I chuck in 4
Yeah.
sport at a time, and it's not good for me. So I don't know if that helps with that answer.
Yeah, that might
Um,
take some exploration of when.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
'Cause if I have carbs, I've had to avoid processed carbs anytime before bed. I know I
Mm,
have very few, but like every once in a while, and say I'll just give an example in family. So our teenagers now cook, right? And they love to make sausage rolls. So last night sausage rolls were. So it's mostly protein
yeah, mostly
that I
protein, but
had a bit.
mm,
Yeah, sorry. Mostly my internet's led me down here.
that's
Sorry.
okay. That's
Um,
okay.
um, but even though there's minor carbs, I noticed that I had a bit of reflux. So I
Mm,
think there's probably more than the supplements to look at, and there's probably multiple things that cause. And some people just need to have a little bit of an elevated um, sleep.
absolutely, they do. They do. But I think, the amount of liquid, like I would take bounce back and not lie down straight away. to
Yeah,
go to
exactly.
sleep. I've sort of learnt these things.
Yeah.
I'll take
So,
it. I might sit up in bed and read for a while or something, but I'd stay in some sort of upright position for a while till I was sure it was down. And even sometimes I had to have another drink. So it depends. I know what
and
I was
so
going to take. I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, just that same question. They're saying it's not so much that this person's worried they're from the products, but what can I do more to help with the pain? I would probably get a medical review of a doctor that
Mm,
you trust, not somebody,
mm,
I've had to doctor shop to find someone that's not just going to go straight to that
mm.
that will work with me, that I prefer natural first, and that they don't have a heart attack by me, hearing me say that.
Sure.
And it's taken probably 20 doctors till I found one that's a gem, right?
Mm.
So, um, and
There's
there's
there's also the other situation of getting that diaphragmatic pain, because this is a good subject to talk about, because people don't have enough hydrochloric acid in their stomach.
yeah,
So this is, as you know,
a low
Sharon, a
acid. Yeah.
massive issue, because if anyone's getting a sort of a burning pain or heartburn coming up, and you go to the doctor, they'll put you on an antacid. Nexium is a common one in Australia, because to quell the acid, because it's coming back up and burning. So
Mm.
the reason that happens is not because you're low in acid, because you need hydrochloric acid at high levels in your stomach. That's one place that needs to be super acidic, because that's where your food's broken down into a slurry, so that it can then go on down, through the bile duct, the liver, etc., into the intestines. So when you don't have enough acid, it doesn't break up the food properly. So you sort of burp it back up. And that's what burns. So you can have had some damage high in the esophagus, from acid burn as well. So you can increasing your acid content is really good. There was a doctor years ago, you'd remember, that South American doctor we had, and he did massive studies on the glycans and said the ambrotase will help increase your hydrochloric acid. So, depending
And
how
you can also
long.
get some support, at a health shop, and get some
Mhm.
digestive enzyme support. So
Yes.
it's going to try a bit of trial and error with this.
Yeah, sure.
There's digestive enzymes that can help with that,
Mm.
and also one by one, see if you drop things out. So some people saying here in the chat that bounce back can cause a bit of burning or gut pain. So just you might need to take some extra water with it. You might need to do it before you lay down. So some trial and error, and digestive. If you're low on that stomach
Yes.
acid, like Karen is saying, the digestive enzymes are very helpful.
Yes. Excellent. So if you have friends in America or you're coming to manifest, you can always stock up on GI Zyme.
Yeah, exactly. God, I
Bring
wish
it
I had
back in
that.
your case. If you have anyone in Hong Kong, we
I'd be
can
a
bring
big
it back
user.
for you. GI Zyme's a magic product. Mm.
Okay, Karen, what's in your heart to leave people with today? Here, I thought we'd
Oh,
run it. We'd
okay. Okay.
only go for 30
Um,
minutes.
oh, okay. Well, I'd like to just come back to why you're doing the business, and understanding you're in business. Okay. And it's not just a one size fits all. It has to become personal. You have to really dig, I think, deep why you're doing this, what your motivation is, what keeps you going. Um, the money, I don't think, is enough of a motivation. It's a lovely aspect, and it helps ease the pressure and stress in your life. So understanding the compensation plan and how people can pay for their products. This is why I'm doing the comp plan training. I'm not trying to encourage everyone to, strive to be millionaires. I'm have a solid business. People need to be able to afford the products. So the comp plan is a much bigger thing than just for yourself. It's about showing others how they can get that power seller bonus very quickly. The first bit I've done on the comp plan, to me, the first couple of slides on the comp plan, on the power seller bonus, are the most important, because that's all you've ever got to do with your business, is help people get the power seller bonus. And then they do the same. That's all you've ever got to learn to do. And getting, the PV up, so you're getting 10%, 15%, 20%. So that's an important part which we haven't talked about really tonight. And to me, that's very important, because money's a challenge. And from 22 years I've been in Manatech. The most common reason people ever stop taking the products is money.
Gonna,
So we need to get this money thing sorted out, you know. And as Don Partridge has said from day one, people say, how much does it cost? Well, free. It's free if you like. You know, you want it for free because you can get to that. I mean, you know, that is my only income. So my business pays for all my products. It paid for my mortgage. It paid for my car. It pays for my petrol. It is my only income. So you can get to that level. And I just really encourage everyone who wants to do this business to do it, because the world needs us, Australia needs us, Manatech needs us to get this up and running so we can get products back and expand. You know, it's possible we could get Manasee back. It's possible we could get other products back. So we just need more turnover. And so I have a million purposes for doing this business, you know, not to get a pension. They're mine. Find out what yours are and really hang on to it and strive towards it and overcome the disappointments. And just, as Ron Boston used to say, next, next, you know, we just have to keep going on.
Yeah,
so it's a wonderful mission, and get into your marketing with emails and get a lot of people to the Brisbane Expo. And I hope Adelaide's going super well as we speak.
So God bless everyone. Prayers for Sue Price from everybody would be welcomed.
Yes, thank
you. We have Rachel Davey taking the call next week because Diane and I'll be at the Brisbane event. So please, everyone, we need everybody to support these calls. So bring one and all. And Karen, thank you very, very much.
It's my pleasure, Sharon.
Yeah.
All the best to everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye.